Obscured by Clouds is a very overlooked and underrated gem in Pink Floyd's 70s output, which is kind of understandable considering it comes between the artistic triumph of Meddle and the enormous success of Dark Side of the Moon. But I think this one is a much-needed side quest on our journey through Pink Floyd's catalog. Following their collaboration on the film More, Barbet Schroeder tapped the band again to score his 1972 film Vallee, which I have seen the entire way through before. It's another one of those experimental hippie films, this time through the jungles of New Guinea. The Floyd songs serve mostly as background music, but due to some falling out with the film, the band chose to name the album Obscured by Clouds, making it something of a standalone project. It's not even mentioned on the cover, which is, once again, just a filtered still from the film, this time out of focus. And even without the context of the film, this still includes some really well-crafted songwriting and sonic experimentation. You can hear just how in tuned they were with each other at this point. The opening instrumental is a great showcase of electronic percussion, booming synthesizers from Rick's recently purchased VCS3, and David's killer slide guitar. It also leads nicely into another more organic instrumental called When You're In, a collaboration between all band members. Obviously, these tracks were meant to score a film, so I'm not expecting them to be a perfect representation of dynamics or diverse chord sequences, but the third track could totally stand on its own. Burning Bridges is a track I actually included on my attempted Floyd playlist. This waltz is Rick's brainchild with lyrics by Roger. As with so many Pink Floyd songs, Dave and Rick sing this as a duet, and their voices complement each other so perfectly. Rick's organ colors the tune with beautiful melancholy, as does David's understated guitar and Nick's gentle drumming. Later on, they adapt the same theme to the track Mudmen, this time in 4/4. It's cool to hear them connecting these musical motifs. Once again, Rick's keyboard textures provide an emotional landscape for David's guitar to soar over. And boy does it soar through this gem. But it's not all about melancholy. David and Roger collaborated on a song called The Gold, It's in the ... Yeah, I don't get the title either. And no, it has nothing to do with the film. They're looking for rare feathers, not gold. Still, this is a fun rocker, more along the lines of the Rolling Stones, but it's fun to hear Dave really rocking out on guitar. He also shows off his softer side on the acoustic ballad, What's the Deal? What's the deal with these song titles? I don't get it. And it's another one of those rare love songs Dave and Roger churn out with an upbeat piano solo by Rick. I believe this is the most popular song from this record, and for good reason. Another of David's most famous contributions to this album is a song he wrote himself called Childhood's End, the opening to side 2, and definitely a standout. You can even hear that ticking pattern that would later appear on Time. It's clear that David is definitely coming into his own as a songwriter. The lyrics, while not as good as Roger's, are still good, once again originating with the concept of lost youth. While the title came from a book, I've always interpreted it to be about being shipped off to Vietnam. And it's probably my favorite guitar solo on the record, very bluesy and perfectly suiting to the song. This would be one of only a couple songs to be retained during their live shows, and there's some pretty cool jams that you can check out on YouTube. We haven't heard from Roger yet, but he does get a chance to sing on the song Free 4, a very upbeat song about death.
Life is a short, warm moment, and death is a long, cold rest.
Well, specifically mortality, something he'd explore more on the song Time, but there's also allusions to the loss of his father. Plus, we get another standout guitar solo from Dave. Man, he's on fire with this album. One more gentle piano ballad from Rick called Stay, a really nice song with a similar theme of longing we heard on Summer '68. My least favorite track is the last one, Absolutely Curtains, which is really just meant to be some ambient music when the characters approach the valley. Eventually, the soundscapes are replaced with Logo Mapuga tribe natives singing, hope I said that correctly, which I suppose is appropriate considering the setting of the film, but as a standalone record, it's an odd ending. Regardless though, Obscured by Clouds is surprisingly good, and would you believe they recorded all this in only 2 weeks? They could have just done more ambient throwaway songs, but Pink Floyd really put their all into this and churned out a classic that I think can stand well between Meddle and Dark Side of the Moon. It really shows that Pink Floyd had the ability to create good old-fashioned rock and roll music standing alongside the Stones or T-Rex. I even picked up a vinyl copy of it, and I'll probably spin it some more after this review. Interesting enough, Todd Meredith, who helped me rank George Harrison's albums, took a listen to this record and told me he really liked it.
So Obscured by Clouds, I'd have to give it a goldfish. That's only though if we were really listening to it from track 2 through track 9. Love the middle of this record. Standout tracks include The Gold, It's in the ... A really fun rocker, great to drive to, gives me Cream and Jimi Hendrix vibes. I also love the track Free 4, which kind of reminds me a little bit of Always Look on the Bright Side of Life by Monty Python gang there. That's, of course, if they were replacing the whistling with some kick-ass David Gilmour guitar solos. I love the opening lyric to that tune. The memories of a man in his old age are the deeds of a man in his prime. Really great lyrics in this tune. I like the dichotomy of that subject with such a bouncy, happy song. And of course, the beautiful ballad Stay is another must-listen track. But I really could do without the opener, and the last track absolutely curtains the more experimental stuff that doesn't really grab me personally, though it may you. That's what's great about music.
No argument from me. Obscured by Clouds is definitely getting a goldfish. I stand by that Burning Bridges is my essential track because of the duet between Dave and Rick's voices. But equally essential are the song's variation in Mudmen, Dave's Childhood's End, Roger's Free 4, and the acoustic ballad with the Seinfeld title, What's the Deal? 3 goldfish in a row. Pink Floyd is on fire right now, but they are about to change the course of rock and roll forever. Bum bum, 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 bum bum. Bum bum, 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 bum. Okay, I should probably stop now. What's ... all the deal? The gold, it's in the ... I guess some people think ellipses make for good song titles. Who are these people? Okay.